There are two main fears that I'm hearing from my clients in the real estate market, and this video is going to tackle number two, which is that there is a foreclosure tsunami on its way. I'm going to show you why that is not the case. And if you missed episode number 1 and the first fear, go up here, click this link, and you can go and watch that video. Let's get into the 6 reasons why people fear a tsunami of foreclosures coming. In no particular order, a recession will cause unemployment to skyrocket. Well, we're clearly seeing that unemployment is not skyrocketing and the labor market is super resilient given all of the recent statistics. The second is that it's the highest mortgage debt in American history. Well, yes, but that's because there's more money in the economy, house prices were more expensive, and so mortgages are more expensive, but people also make more and there are more people buying homes than ever before, so obviously mortgage debt is going to go up. The third reason that I hear so often is that there are millions are leaving the forbearance program. Well, there aren't that many people in the forbearance program anymore that either sold their house or caught up or refinanced, but that's not something that we have to deal with. The fourth is that foreclosures are up 187% over 2021. This is one of the most misleading statistics. Yes, they are up 187% compared to 2021. But do you remember what happened in 2021? There was a foreclosure moratorium, so you couldn't kick anybody out. So yeah, it's up 187% against nothing. And you know, the fifth is that homeowners already aren't paying their mortgage. That's just not true. There are people paying, people who have mortgages are paying their mortgages on time, and there are more people paying mortgages on time than there ever have been in the past. And the sixth point that people bring up is that there's negative equity caused by falling home prices, which we're going to get into because it's just absolutely ridiculous. And so what I want you to take out of this is that facts will alleviate the fear. If you pay attention to what the facts are, then all this mishigas that's being propagated won't make any difference whatsoever. So let's get into point number 1, that the recession will cause unemployment to skyrocket. Well, during the great financial crisis of 2008 to 2012, as you can see in the first bar of this chart, we had 8.3% unemployment. The 75-year average of unemployment in this country between 1948 and 2023 is 5.7%. And today, we're sitting at 3.5%. So even if unemployment doubled, we still wouldn't be as high as it was during the great financial crisis. So just let that sink in for a minute. Second point we talked about was that we're at the highest mortgage debt in American history. Well, let's look at this chart, which is mortgage versus income ratio. It is the lowest it's ever been other than at the peak of the market in 2021. We're looking at 3.9%, which is the percent of someone's mortgage payment against their disposable personal income. We're at the lowest point other than the peak, and the peak just happened in 2021. So pretty sure we can just throw this one right out the window. Here's one of my favorites that people bring up all too often, which is that millions are leaving the forbearance program and they're gonna, face foreclosure. Well, here is the share of mortgage loans in forbearance, and it went down almost a half point in June. In May of 2020, it was just over 8%. And in June of 23, we're looking at 0.44%. So 0.44% of mortgages in this country are even in forbearance. So the fact that millions of people are going to end this program and face financial hardship just is statistically incorrect. Go back to one of my favorite misconstrued statistics, that foreclosures are up 187% over 2021. Well, let's just look at this again. Foreclosures in the first 6 months of the year, and these are the respective years. 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12, we had over 1 million foreclosure filings in the first 6 months. And if you take 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, I think you're about just over 1 million total in the first 6 months of those 5 years cumulatively. And if we're just looking at the statistic I mentioned of being up 187% over 2021, that's because you couldn't put anybody in foreclosure in 2021. So we're at 186,000 foreclosure filings in the first 6 months of the year. We are nowhere near where we were in the great financial crisis, and we're not even where we were in the years of like bulk appreciation. We are so much lower. And now let's just talk about the fact that homeowners, they're not even paying their mortgages. They're too expensive, whatever the case may be. Percent of mortgage loans that are 3 monthly payments or more past due or in the process of foreclosure, we are at the lowest level that we've seen in a very long time. So I don't know why anybody thinks that this is even the case. You can see here, the seasonally adjusted mortgage delinquency rate fell to its lowest level since MBA's survey began in 1979. Buoyed by a resilient job market, homeowners are continuing to make their mortgage payments. So I think we can just throw the whole people aren't paying their mortgages right out the window. So now let's talk about negative equity caused by falling home prices. Well, if you watched the first video, you already know that home prices aren't falling. And you also know, if you watch the beginning of this video, that in order to buy a home in America right now, you need to put money down on the purchase. So you already have equity. The negative equity scenario by falling home price is saying that, let's say you put 5% down and then your home value dropped by 10%, then you have negative equity. Well, that scenario only really makes a difference if you are in financial hardship, can't pay your mortgage, and need to sell your home. But let's use it in the comparison that everybody's making to the great financial crisis of 2008, and let me show you where the negative equity scenario exists right now. Millions fewer homes in negative equity. Homes in negative equity, height of the great financial crisis compared to 2023. Please, someone argue this point to show me why we are going to have a negative equity crisis. At the height of the GFC, it was more than 16 million homes were negative equity. And it's because of what I told you, that the banks were even paying you to buy a home, which means that you walked into your home on day one in a negative equity scenario. And then obviously, if you don't have equity to begin with and the market crashes, then you are in a really bad situation. But we're not seeing market crash. We're not seeing prices go down. We're seeing them just appreciate slower than they have over the last couple of years. And currently we have 344,000 homes in all of America in a negative equity scenario. I highly doubt that that's going to cause the whole thing to come crumbling down. To further showcase why that is not going to be an issue, this chart is Americans sitting on tremendous equity. 68.7% have paid off their mortgages or have at least 50% equity. 50% equity. That's ridiculous. This 38.7% of Americans that are homeowners own their home outright. They have no mortgage payment. 29% have mortgages with equity between 1 and 49%. 30% have equity of over 50%. This little sliver is 2.1% of existing homeowners have negative equity. That means that 97.9% of homeowners are positive equity. So please, again, comment below, shoot me a text, let me know why, how this chart of 97.9% American homeowners with positive equity leads to there being a foreclosure apocalypse coming, because I just statistically don't understand how that's possible. If you have any misunderstandings, questions, comments, concerns about what I presented in this video, shoot me a text, drop me a comment, send me an email. I'm here to have a conversation. People do it every single day, and I'm happy to open the conversation, open the dialogue, and entertain whatever thoughts people may have about their market, nationally, locally, specifically, whatever it may be. I'm here to help be a knowledge broker and help the community understand that the real estate market at large is an incredibly strong position right now, and that the fear being propagated by the clickbait articles of whatever news organization you want to follow or whatever political party you want to assign to, it doesn't make a difference. The reality is that these statistics that I shared with you in this video and the one before showcase the strength of the real estate market, the growth trends of the real estate market, and why now is as good a time as any to buy a home. And on that point, if you think that you know what's going to happen to mortgage rates, please send me a text, because I have no idea. No other agent or broker has any idea. The people in charge don't have any idea what's going to happen with mortgage rates. The feeling is that they're probably going to get closer to 9 before they get closer to 6, but who the hell knows, because I surely don't. If you do, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think they'll be, when you think they'll be there, and why you think they're going to get there. And if you have any questions about buying a home, selling a home, buying an investment property, renovating, building, whatever it may be, like I said, people every day hit me up, send me emails and texts, and I love having those conversations. I'm here to answer those questions. I'm here to add value to your process of understanding the real estate market. I'm not here to convince anyone to do anything, but simply present cases that explicitly show the strength of the market that we're in. Home prices are expensive and they're getting more expensive. I have full appreciation and respect for everyone who is trying to buy a home right now in an increasingly difficult situation. My pitch to anyone who is considering buying a home right now and just waiting and waiting to see what's going to happen, it is going to get a lot more difficult by waiting than jumping in right now. Following the cliche of the right time to buy a home is when you have the money and you find the right home is what will work for you. It's what's worked for my clients, and that's the history of real estate. It's worked in that scenario. If you have questions about understanding what that cliche means or how it's applicable to you, my information is on the screen. It's in the description. I said, I'm here to answer questions. I look forward to answering your questions, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you for taking a moment to understand what the market means right now.